last but not least, I think it's very, very important for Anthony Edwards to knock off Nikola Jokić and the Denver Nuggets sooner rather than later. Minnesota needs to get it done sooner rather than later, led by Anthony Edwards. And here's why. Because right now, we're at a stage where Kevin Durant's getting bounced in the first round. LeBron James is getting bounced in the first round. Steph Curry didn't even make the playoffs this year. Kawhi Leonard super duper hobbled with injuries. Not the same version he once was. James Harden, Russell Westbrook, don't even get me started. Great players, Hall of Famers, but they're washed. They're not the same as what they once used to be. So what I'm saying is an entire generation of basketball players, in 5 years, that generation is going to be completely dead to the water because you have guys like Victor Wembanyama coming into the NBA and instantly looking like a superstar level player. You have a guy like Luka Doncic coming in and doing the same thing. Nikola Jokić is at the peak of his prime. Giannis Antetokounmpo at the peak of his prime. What do all those players have in common? Those are European NBA players. These are not American-born players. Now, to be very clear, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here because I do believe a foreign-born player outside of America can be indeed the face of the NBA. I do firmly believe that. However, in terms of just marketability, whether you think it's fair or not, it's not me talking, it's the NBA talking to you. The NBA prefers a LeBron James, a Stephen Curry, or a Kevin Durant. Guys that are from the United States of America. That's what they prefer because they want to relate to their audience. Basketball has become a global sport, don't get me wrong, but it's super duper big, specifically in the United States of America. So you want to appeal most to your bread and butter audience. And Anthony Edwards has a chance to be the face of the NBA, not only because of his ability to play basketball, but because he's an American-born player. He went to the University of Georgia. He comes from the United States of America. He's an American-born player. And he can relate to the American general fan base a lot better than a guy like Victor Wembanyama, who is no fault of his own, not from America. And that's fine. I think Victor Wembanyama could eventually be the face of the league or, the best player in the league. But in terms of marketability, in terms of what the NBA looks for, Anthony Edwards is that guy for them. And looking at the generation of upcoming young players, who's the other guy outside of Anthony Edwards that has his swagger, has his, basketball ability and, his charisma? Paolo Banchero. I love Paolo Banchero, but not really a vocal guy. So is the NBA going to push for a guy like Paolo compared to a guy like Anthony Edwards, despite who's the better player? If it's close, the guy with the more charismatic attitude and the guy with the most charisma and swagger, I would say, and most appeal to the fans, that's the guy that's going to be pushed. And if Jokić is winning all the championships and goes back-to-back and potentially creates a dynasty in Denver, Anthony Edwards and the American players are in danger of missing out on that. So it is very ideal for Anthony Edwards sooner rather than later to knock off a guy like Nikola Jokić, because if Jokić and the Denver Nuggets win the title back-to-back, this has the potential to be the start of a dynasty. But if they don't, then it raises questions. And I think Denver kind of peels back to the basic baseline contender landscape of the NBA. If Denver wins the championship, heading into next year, they're going to be the favorites, and it probably won't even be close. Now, not to say that they're going to three-peat or anything like that, even though it's possible with a guy like Nikola Jokić being that guy, but if you want parity in terms of just players in the NBA, Denver being a dynasty, that could get in the way of it. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing if Denver's a dynasty. I'm just talking about people that are looking to push for that next American superstar. Anthony Edwards seems to be that guy, but in order for it to happen sooner rather than later, he's got to knock off the big bad wolf. That is the Denver Nuggets led by Nikola Jokić. That's how I feel. Well, folks, that's pretty much all I have today. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jamon McKinney, but of course you can just call me Juice because that is my nickname. I am the Juice Alert. Have a God bless day. Stay safe. Thank you for tuning into the Juice Alert, and I'm Ghost.